Hi everyone. In week 7, we were looking at shift and backspace keys on our keyboard and how to go about using them to capitalize certain letters on the keyboard. Part of this is also review from the previous classes we've had. Doing repeat skills is very important. Doing the copy and paste actions, doing the drag and drops are also very important skills that students are going to need throughout their school experience. So looking at shift, there are 2 shift keys on your keyboard. One is located on both sides. So there's a shift on the left side of your keyboard, right above the control button we've been using. And there's one above the directional arrows on the opposite side. So as I've said in class, you have 2 fingers, you have 2 hands, you have 2 shift buttons on both sides so that wherever you're closest to, you can use. Whatever you feel comfortable using is fine as well. So that's where those are. You do want to get your 2 pointer fingers out and get used to where those are. You can point them out at home. There are 2 ways you can use the shift key. One way is using your right finger on your keyboard and pressing down on the shift key and then pressing on the letter that you want to capitalize. And if you notice on your keyboard, all the letters are all lowercase letters. Now, the only way you can get them uppercase is by pressing on shift, holding it down, and then tapping on the letter. You'll also notice on the screen that the numbers on your keyboard have different symbols above them. So if you ever want to use one of those symbols, for example, if you were to press 1, 2, or 3, you wouldn't get those symbols above the numbers unless you held down shift first. So those are very important to see. The second way you can hold down shift looks like this. You can use your left hand instead, hold down the shift key, and then press on the letter that you want to capitalize. So whichever one you're comfortable with doing. Sometimes I say to pick the one that's closest, and then use your other hand to type the letter. Now, something you don't want to do, and something I have been seeing in class, you don't want to cross your arms at any point because that looks kind of awkward. It feels kind of awkward. Some are using the wrong hand. You never want to cross your hands at all when you're using the keyboard. So if you catch yourself, maybe you're pressing the left shift key with your right hand and then crossing over, you don't want to ever create an X while you're typing or using the keyboard. It's uncomfortable, 1, and 2, you're kind of working against yourself. I'm going to play a quick little video on the screen for you. It will just demonstrate how to go about using shift and typing. This is a woman named Marissa who is going to be typing her name. So she's just going to demonstrate for us how to use the shift key.
We are going to talk about the purpose of the shift key. Shift does 2 things. Most importantly, it helps us make a capital letter. If I want to write my name, Marissa McQueenie, I need to make 3 capital letters. First, I need a capital M, so I type Shift M. I need to hold the Shift key down and press M at the same time. Shift M. Then I type the rest of my name. Marissa.
So looking at that, you can kind of see how you would go about holding shift down and then proceeding to hit the letter that you need to capitalize. After that, everything else, you can just type the rest of your name. On the assignment for this week, after those first intro slides that show you where shift key is and the ways to type, along with the video that I've just played, this is where you're going to see 3 text boxes on the screen, and this is where you're going to be typing your name or practicing typing your name. So here's what happens. When I hold down shift, my capital letter will appear. However, if I don't hold shift at all, this is what's going to happen on the screen. My name will come up tiny. So if I want to change that, I can use the backspace key and that backspace key is right below the power button. If I press on backspace, I can get rid of those letters. Now, when I hold down shift with my one finger and I press M, it will be a capital M on the screen. Now, the question for you is, what happens if I hold down that shift button the entire time as I type my name? What would happen? Well, let me show you. If I hold the shift down the entire time I type my name, I will have all capital letters on the screen. And that is not how my name is written, nor is it how your name is written. Your name is not capitalized the whole time. So you want to backspace. You want to make sure that just the first letter of your first name is capitalized. And you can push the space bar down below, which is the very long rectangular bar right above your touchpad. Once you do that, then you can hold shift again for your last name and then let go and type the rest of your letters out. You want to do this for 3 times. Once you have your name in there 3 times, then we are going to go back to some review down below. So on this screen here, we are doing some more copy and paste practice. I always say the most important step that most forget is to click on the picture first. So please click on that picture until you see these little blue squares appear. Once you see them, then you can hold down Control and tap on the letter C. This will have copied the picture, and if you've copied it successfully, you can continue to hold Control down and tap on the letter V. However, don't hold V down, because what's going to happen is you're going to get a whole bunch of tree pictures there. It'll keep thinking that you want to paste them. So if you just want to copy it once and paste it once, you just have to tap V real quickly, and then you can let go. And then what we're going to do is we're going to practice dragging it over. I'm using my touchpad. However, if you have a touchscreen Chromebook, you can also just use your finger on the screen. Some are using the directional arrows too, and that is fine, as long as you can get the picture to the other side. Now, sometimes if you are ready to copy this picture, I see in class some are forgetting to copy the next picture, and they are just pushing Control V. And what happens when you do that is that the tree that we've just copied last time is still saved. So if you just press Control V, the tree is going to pop up, and we don't want that. Make sure that when you're ready to copy something new, you click on the picture first, then press Control C, just like you see above. The next direction on the other side is Control V. We're going to do that, and then we can click and drag the pumpkin and the leaves to the other side of the line. And I can use my little directional arrows if I need to move it up or down a little bit. The last copy and paste picture, since we're going all on 3s here, is we're clicking on the scarecrow, Control C, Control V to paste, and we're dragging it over to the other side. So you should have 2 images in each slide. You want to make sure you're careful about clicking on the picture, because if not, you can see this little orange box around my slide here. If you press Control C before you click on the picture, you're copying this whole slide and pasting it. And you can see how I have 2 slides of the tree now. So make sure that you press on the picture, or else the computer thinks you want to copy the entire slide, and you don't want to copy the entire slide. And that's what I'm seeing a lot, is we're copying and pasting correctly, but we are sometimes copying the entire slides. We don't want to do that. If you come down to slide 10, we're doing some more drag and drop, not like we're used to, but this one involves a little bit of math. So you're looking in the bubble here. It says number 1. So you're going to have to drag 1 apple off the tree here and put it in the basket below. So pretty simple. All you have to do is click on the apple and click and drag it using your touchpad or your finger into the basket. Sometimes what happens is if you are clicking and dragging, see this little arrow that's diagonal? If you click on that and you start dragging it like this, you're going to make a really big apple because you're changing the size of the apple. So the best thing you want to do is see those 4 lines that come up, those 4 arrows in the middle of the apple. You want to use that and click in the middle of the apple and then drag, or else you're going to be making the apple bigger. So sometimes I see apples that look like this because we're clicking on one of those squares and then dragging, and you have a stretched out apple. Another thing I see is if you double click on it, you're going to get this black square. If you see that black square on your screen, you want to click to the side, because what happens there is you're kind of taking it and you're making this transparent apple for some reason. You don't want that either. So if you double click on it and you see that box, you want to just click to the side. If you click on the apple once, you're good to go, and you see those blue squares. If you see that black box, you're going to be taking a transparent image of the apple that you can see through, and you don't want to do that either. So just one apple in the bin there. The next one are 3 apples. So you want to click once on the apple and drag. Click once on the apple and drag, and this is any apple. I can even take one from the bottom. And remember, we're not double clicking because you're going to get that box. If you get that box, click to the side and try it again. If you make a mistake, Control Z will bring the apples right back. You don't want to hold Control Z down, because just like when we paste, it'll keep undoing everything you just did. So you just want to tap on that if you're going to use that. So again, I'm going to drag the 3 over into the basket. And the last one we need to do is dragging 5 apples from the tree into the basket. So I'm going to click and drag them over as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I need one more 5. So some full apple picking there. On to slide 13, we move back into the coding skills. So our directions are to drag these arrows from the side to show how the kids can get to school. Now, we need to avoid the obstacles in our way, like the rocks, the trees, and the water. So how this works is the same way. We are practicing clicking and dragging still. However, this is also an early coding skill. So part of computer programming is giving directions to objects on the screen, sometimes referred to as sprites if we're talking about characters. So right now we're going to try to move the characters down here, the students, all the way to the school building over there. So there are 2 different ways you can start. You can start with an up arrow here to make the kids go up first, or you can start with a left arrow here to make them move this way. Either way you go, I just need one clear path going to the school. So for example, if I want to go this way first, I'm going to drag the arrows over, and I'm going to make the kids go this way. And then once I reach the end there, I want to start changing the direction so I'm not heading into the rock. So at the very last one there, I'm going to make the arrow go up, because I'm no longer going to the left there into the rock. I'm going up now. So I'm going to go up all the way, and I can keep clicking and dragging these arrows. The only thing you don't want to do over here, and this will get rid of all your arrows, is if you click and drag and highlight all the arrows, then you're moving the whole set of arrows here. So don't click and drag over the arrows, just click on the arrow you want, select just that one, and then drag it over. I have seen something like this before. When you click and highlight the whole arrows, you move the whole set of arrows away like this, say, and you can accidentally delete all your arrows that are there, and you don't want to do that either. So just click on the arrow first and drag which one you need over. And finally, when you get to the top box, I'm not going up anymore. I'm going to pick a left arrow so that I can show the kids how to get to school. So that's just one path I can use to get the kids to school. Another one might look like this. I might go all the way up first. And then I might be going to the left this way. And what's nice about coding is sometimes there's different paths to choose and different ways to approach going to get there. So I'm no longer going here because I'll hit the tree. So I'm going to go with the up arrow. And then because I'm all the way up already, I'm going to go to the left. And I'm going to pick another arrow over. I can go that way too. So you can see there's 2 clear paths how to get to school. There are more than 2 paths though. These are just the 2 that I've shown. You could have made a turn above the rock here and gone below the tree over. There's a whole bunch of different ways to get to school. And same is true in real life. So there's another one down here on slide 14 with more trees, more rocks, different spots. So I want to see if you can figure out a way to get the kids to school. And with the same thing on the other slide, the kids are already at school. See if you can show them a path how to get home using the same objects in the way as last time. And once you're done, the last slide will take you to typing.com. However, you may have typing.com saved on your shelf at the bottom, which you can just click into. And remember, you're logging in with Google to practice. Now, make sure that you go back to Google Classroom, press turn in on the assignments so I know that you're all finished. If you have any questions about any of the topics today that we've covered, you can give me an email at kmichelle@runmeadschools.org, and I'll be more than happy to help you out with that.